Hey there, it's Tara, your yoga bestie, and we have a really great class for opening up the side bodies and our hearts today. If you have a strap, it'll be really helpful for the beginning portion or something that you can use in lieu of a strap. If not, just do what you can. It's all good. But yeah, we're gonna start out on our backs today. So let's go ahead and make our way there in any comfortable position of choice. So just determining where you want your arms and legs to be. And once you kind of settle in, go ahead and close your eyes as you start to tap into your Ujjayi breath. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Our Ujjayi breath is an audible breath, so you're gonna hear a snoring-like sound in the back of the throat, kind of like you're fogging up a mirror. And as we inhale, we can do so to the count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just continue with this rhythm, knowing that you can always add or subtract any of those counts. But while you're focused in on your breath, we've been talking about the chakras, specifically the heart chakra as of late, which is the 4th chakra located at the heart center. It's associated with things like love for yourself and for others, compassion, empathy, forgiveness, connection and relationships, acceptance, grief and healing. It also encompasses the lungs, your shoulders, and your upper back. It's also associated with the color green, so you might envision a green light coming from your chest. And the affirmation that I'm offering up this week for the 4th chakra is, my heart is filled with gratitude for this moment. So we might say that by inhaling the words, my heart is filled with gratitude, exhaling for this moment. And please feel free to utilize that whenever you like. I'll also be referring to it throughout our practice today. Have our little buddy. He's feeling great with his little pride bandana. It's so cute. For those of you who don't know, this is Lionel. He likes to make cameos, mainly at the beginning. But I don't know who I'm whispering to, but that's okay. So on our next inhale, let's come into a nice full body stretch. You can extend the arms up overhead. You can extend your legs out in front of you. Any other movement that feels good at this time, maybe moving the head from side to side, maybe making some rotations in the wrists, the ankles, just saying hello to your body today. And then we'll bring our hands together at our heart center, our Anjali Mudra, as we set our intention for our practice, which may be our affirmation of my heart is filled with gratitude for this moment, or whatever else resonates with you. Please honor that. Let's take another big breath in here. Exhale, let it go. All right, from here, we'll open up the eyes, and we're gonna take our strap in between both hands as we reach the arms up overhead and from our reclined position. And we're gonna come into like a C or a banana-like shape. So we're gonna let the legs go over towards the right corner of the mat. And we're gonna bring our body over towards the right corner of the mat. But we're gonna reach down with the right arm as the left arm comes overhead so that you can feel that space along the side body. If you need more, you can always bring that left ankle on top of the right. And then we're gonna try to gaze towards our left arm as we come into this shape. And just check in here, breathing space in between each rib along that side. Two more breaths as we inhale. Exhale. Big breath in. And exhale. Nice, so we'll come back to center. We'll make any adjustments because you might have noticed that the strap tends to have more space in between the hands once you go into that side body stretch. So you might have to make adjustments here, and then we'll let the legs go over towards the left and then our torso over towards the left. So this time, right arm is up, left arm comes down by the sides. Maybe you have that right ankle on top. Maybe you gaze towards that right arm here. Just breathing into that space. And try not to tense up or grip here. allow your body to release into the floor and into the mat. Two more breaths as we inhale. Exhale. Big breath in. And exhale. Nice. So we're going to bring ourselves back to center. We'll find a little tighter grip, most likely on our strap, as we bring it up overhead. And this is going to be our inhale. As we exhale, we're going to bring it forward so that it kind of rests along the thighs. And we'll just start to move forward and back. I was joking, making a lot of noise with our strap if it's clanking like mine is. It's kind of like making a water bottle like fall on the floor. That type of sound. Yeah, and the next time that you have it up overhead, we'll hold it here, really breathing into the chest and the shoulders. And then as we exhale, bend both legs. So you're gonna have the knees right over the hips, making those 90-degree angles. And this will be our inhale. As we exhale, bring yourself up to where that strap touches the thighs, your shoulders are lifted, your gaze is towards the front of your mat. And then we're just gonna start to extend our right leg forward to a hover, and then we'll bring it in. We'll extend the left leg forward and bring it in. And we'll just alternate at our own breath. Inhale as you extend, exhale as you draw it in. And once both sides are even, go ahead and take your strap, place it onto the tops of your ankles as we bring those feet down, setting up for a bridge pose with our strap so we can lift up those hips, walking those shoulder blades in towards one another and just noticing the rise and fall of the belly. Inhale, seeing that belly expand. Exhale, seeing it draw in. One more big breath here. Exhale, lowering it down, and we'll place our strap to the side. We won't be utilizing that anymore unless you just want to use it for whatever reason. So from here, we'll bring our knees into our chest as we start to rock and roll forward and back, finding a rhythm that feels good to you. We're going to end up meeting in our down dog. So feel free to come into your tabletop position first, maybe find some breaths here with some movement that might feel good. But we'll meet in our down dog where we can start to warm up in this first down dog of the practice. Taking a couple breaths as we inhale. Exhale. Big breath in. And exhale. So go ahead and lift up the right leg. We're going to open up that hip, heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling as we work that left heel down. And we're going to start to make some circles going in one direction, going in the other direction. Yeah, and then we'll inhale, straightening that leg. Exhale, knee draws to nose. And we're going to lower that knee at the center of our mat. So we're going to face towards the left side as we come into gate pose. So that knee lowers down, left leg stays extended as we reach that right arm up and overhead, breathing into that side body. Inhale. And then as we exhale, bring your hand to the top of the mat. Left arm will reach up as we come into a supported side plank. You might lift up that left leg. You might bend that left leg and find that foot or ankle, creating a back bend here. So as the foot pushes into the hand, you start to feel that rotation of the chest upward. Big breath here. On our exhale, releasing or lifting up that leg, we're going to swing it all the way to the top of the mat. So we're going to stamp that left foot there. And we're going to bring our right toes back as we come into our runner's lunge. So we might have our blocks here as we start to open up in the hamstring. So shifting forward and back, moving at your pace. You always have the option of lowering that back knee down as well. Next time that we shift it forward, runner's twist. So right hand is coming down, left arm is going to reach up, and then we're going to bring that hand behind the head. So elbow is going to draw up. So we'll inhale, lifting up through the elbow. Exhale, draw it towards the other elbow. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, we lower. We lift and lower. And then we'll reach that arm up. We're going to lower the back knee down. So we're staying in our twist as we come into our half splits. So you're going to feel that in the outer leg. And then from this space, we lift up the torso, either bringing our left hand to the small of our back as our right arm reaches up, or maybe we find our heel here for our half camel pose. Big breath in. And then as we exhale, shift it forward. So bend that left knee, coming into our arrow lunge. So back knee lifts, arms can reach forward, they can reach back, have the hands on the hips, basically any arm variation you want. Exhale, lower those hands, and then bring the right knee behind the left, coming into a seated twist. So we'll hug that knee in close towards our body as we either hug that knee with our right arm, or we could even use our elbow as leverage to find a little bit more space in the twist. Shoulders draw down as we lengthen through the crown of the head. Inhale. Exhale, belly button draws into spine, maybe taking you a little bit deeper into your twist. Big breath in. Exhale. So listen, we're going to take this top leg and we're going to bring it behind us, coming into 90-90 legs. So coming into our deer pose. And once we have our deer pose, we're going to go over towards that right knee, maybe walking it even past that as we go clockwise. Maybe even bringing those forearms down as we breathe into that side body. Just letting the head relax once you find your spot. One more breath in. Exhale. And then we're going to bring ourselves closer towards that right knee. So you can have your hand to the outside of it or your forearm down as we reach the left arm up, and then we're going to place it behind the head, getting into that thoracic again. So inhale here. Exhale, draw that elbow towards your right. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, lower. Lift. Lower. And then we lift, reaching that arm up where we can stay, or maybe we lift up our hips. Maybe we lift up our hips and then draw that right leg in towards the body. Maybe we find that foot and start to extend that leg, coming in this variation of Visvamitra. We'll lower that down and we'll bring our hands to the top of the mat as we tuck those left toes under, making our way into our down dog. Big breath here. Exhale. And then left leg's gonna lift, opening up that hip, heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling, where we'll stay, or we'll start to make our circles going in one direction, going in the other direction. And we'll inhale, straightening. Exhale, knee draws to nose. We're coming into that gate pose, so we're bringing that knee to the center. And we'll lift up as we reach that left arm overhead, breathing into that side body. Inhale. Exhale. And then left hand comes to the top of the mat for our supported side plank. So find your variation. Maybe that variation includes bending the leg, finding that foot or ankle for our back bend here. One more breath in. As we exhale, release or lift up that leg. We're going to swing it forward as we ground through that right foot, swinging the other leg back for our runner's lunge. So if you like to have blocks here as we shift forward and back, do it. If not, no worries, knowing that we can always lower that back knee here. Next time we shift it forward, moving into that runner's twist. So left hand is down, right arm reaches up. We're bringing it back behind the head as we lead with that elbow. Exhale, lower it. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And then we'll straighten through that arm, lowering the back knee down. We keep this twist as we come into that half splits. And then from that half splits, we lift up the torso, coming into our half camel pose. So we can bring that hand to the small of our back, or maybe you can find your heel. I'm having a hard time. Take a big breath here. Exhale, bend that right knee for our arrow lunge. Find your arm variation that you like. And then we'll exhale, bringing those hands down, moving into our seated twist. So left knee comes behind the right, and we twist towards the right. Shoulders draw down as we lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, belly button to spine as we go deeper into our twist. From here, we're moving into that deer pose, our 90-90 legs. So our right leg, which is our top leg, comes behind us. Create that 90 degrees in those legs as we start to walk towards the left knee, maybe coming past it counterclockwise. Once you find your spot, breathing into that space. Big breath in. Exhale. And then we're going to come to the outside of that left knee, either with our hand or the forearm, as we reach that right arm up. Bring it behind the head as the elbows draws up. And as we exhale, bring it down. Inhale, we open. Exhale, we close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. And then we'll reach that arm up. Stay here. Maybe lift up those hips. Maybe draw the left leg in towards the body. Maybe finding your Visvamuttrasana variation here on the forearm or the hand. We release whatever version we took. Hands come to the top of the mat, tucking those right toes under as we come into our down dog. Big breath here. Exhale, softening the knees. We'll gaze forward as we either walk or float to the top of our mat, coming into our forward fold. We'll roll all the way up to standing. And as soon as our head lifts, let's reach those arms up and back, breathing into the chest. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen halfway. Hands plant as we either step or float back, lowering or hovering. Inhaling into our cobra or up dog. Exhaling into our down dog. So taking our sun salutation A, we'll take a full breath in. Exhale, softening those knees, gaze forward as we either walk or float to the top. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward fold. Let's reverse. Reach it up, reach it back. Exhale into our forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen halfway. Hands plant as we either step or float back, lowering or hovering. Inhaling into our cobra or up dog. Exhaling into our down dog. Full breath in. Exhale, softening the knees, gaze forward as you step or float to the top. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward fold. Let's reverse. Reach it up and back. Open up to the heart. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Hands plant as we either step or float back, lowering or hovering. Inhaling into our cobra or up dog. Exhaling into our down dog. We'll take a big breath in. Exhale, finding a resting position of choice. That concludes our warm-up. So just taking a moment to check in with your breath. Maybe getting a drink of water or toweling off if you're sweaty. Not right now, thankfully. Or just closing the eyes and just noticing how the breath feels. Because even though it's just been a few minutes, you might feel a lot more space than you did at the beginning of the practice already. Let's also refer back to our affirmation of my heart is filled with gratitude for this moment. Again, my heart is filled with gratitude for this moment. So if you're new to my class, we do two main sequences. So we're about to start the first one. I call that peanut butter. And then we repeat that a couple times. And then we move into jelly, which is our new sequence. We will repeat that a couple times. And then we bring those both together one last time for one delicious peanut butter and jelly sequence. So it's a lot of fun. We're going to start out in our Malasana, so our yogic squat at the top of our mat. Feel free to support yourself by having any props underneath you. You can bring those hands to heart center using our elbows as leverage to open up those hips. And we can stay here. Maybe we find a wrist stretch by bringing the tops of the hands together. Those fingers can face downward. Or if you want to play with an arm balance right away, maybe you go into your crow pose by lifting up that seat, bring one or both knees onto the triceps. If they're there, maybe start to lift up one leg at a time. If both legs are lifted, bringing those big toes together as you bring your gaze forward. And continue to push the mat away with those hands. That's the biggest part. Even though we're leaning forward, we're still pushing the floor away. Otherwise, we do fun things like face plant to the floor, and nobody really likes that. But we'll make our way to our Malasana as we start to go into our first main sequence. So hands will come down as we step the left foot back. So this is going to feel familiar from the warm-up. Right arm will reach up, bring that hand behind the head as we inhale. Exhale, bring the elbow towards the other. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, we close. Inhale, we lift and close. And then reach that arm up, lowering your back knee down as you come into that twisted half splits. And then from that, we're coming into our half camel pose. So either reaching for that lower back, or maybe you're finding your heel. Inhale. Exhale, bend that right knee, arrow lunge. So any version that you want with the arms here. And then this is where we're changing up from our warm-up. So we're going to bring that left knee in towards our chest. We're moving into dancing Shiva, so we're twisting towards the left side. And there's a lot of options. So you could be here, you could be here. You might extend that leg. Maybe you have your hand to the outside of that foot as you extend the leg. So lots of different options. But any of the ones that you choose, you're going to want to push into that right foot as you lengthen through the crown of the head. Taking a big breath in here. And then as we exhale, we're tipping ourselves over as we swing that leg back for half moon. So maybe you have a block here, which is nice and handy for that. Flexing through our left foot as we work stacking shoulder on top of shoulder. And we shift our weight towards the ball of that right foot, but not all the way to the toes. Inhale. And as we exhale, lower the left hand down. Lower that left knee behind the right knee. So we're coming into our seated twist. So more familiarity from the warm-up. We're twisting to the right as we take a big breath in here. Exhale. And then send the right leg back for those 90-90 deer legs. Right away, left hand or forearm is going to come to the outside of that left knee. Reaching that right arm up as we place it behind the head, we inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And then we lift, reaching that arm up where we stay. Maybe we lift up those hips. Maybe we lift up those hips, bringing that left leg in and starting to extend through the leg if that's an option today. And then we release that. Hands come to the top of the mat. Right toes tuck under as we find our down dog. So that's what we've got for our peanut butter today. We'll bend our knees, gazing forward as we either walk or float to Malasana, our yogic squat, where we have the same options as before. So feel free to hang out here. Feel free to add on. Great time to just check in with your breath before we move into our left side. One more big breath in here. And then as we exhale, lower those hands, step the right foot back, coming into your runner's lunge, where we'll bring that left arm up and then behind the head. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And then we reach that arm up, lowering the back knee down. We'll straighten through that left leg, coming into our half splits twist. And then we lift up the torso, finding our half camel pose. Big breath here. Exhale, bend the left knee. Come into your arrow lunge with whatever version you like your hands to be in. And then we're moving into that dancing Shiva. So right knee draws into chest. We're twisting to the right. Remember, we have all those different options. You choose the one that works for you. Pushing into the mat with that foot as you lengthen through the crown of the head. Maybe starting to gaze towards your back thumb. Inhale. Exhale, we start to tip over, coming into our half moon. So maybe we have a block there for our left hand as we open it up. Really extending through that right foot like you're placing a big footprint behind you. Inhale. Exhale, right hand comes down. Right knee comes behind the left knee as we come into our seated twist. We twist to the left. Big breath in. Exhale. And then send that left leg back for deer pose. So we find those 90-90 legs, either the forearm or the hand to the outside of that knee, lifting that left arm up as we place that hand behind the head. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale. Exhale. One more, we inhale. Exhale. And then we reach it up where we stay. We lift up those hips. Maybe we lift up those hips, draw that leg in, and start to extend through the leg for this variation. And we lower what we've got. Hands come to the top of the mat, left toes tuck under, down dog. All right, we're going to start to pick up the pace on this. So make your way to Malasana, your yogic squat. Inhale. Exhale, hands lower, left foot steps back. We inhale, right arm reaches, place it behind the head. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reach, lower that back knee, half splits to our half camel. And then we'll bend that right knee, coming into our arrow lunge, moving into dancing Shiva. Big breath in. Exhale, we'll tip it over, half moon. And then left hand comes down, left knee comes behind as we twist towards the right. And then we send that right leg back, deer legs. Inhale, right arm will reach up as we place it behind the head. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then reach it up, lift up or find your version here. And then hands come to the top of the mat. Right toes tuck under as we find our down dog. Bend those knees, gazing forward as you make your way into Malasana. Inhale. Exhale, hands come down, step the right foot back. Inhale, bringing that hand behind the head. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, and then we'll reach it up. Back knee lowers. We'll straighten through that left leg. We'll come into our half camel pose. And then we bend that left knee for arrow lunge to our dancing Shiva, twisting to the right. We'll tip over for our half moon. So find maybe that block there. And then right hand comes down, right knee comes behind the left, and we twist to the left. From here, taking that left leg back, coming into our deer legs, and we get our setup on. We'll bring that hand behind the head. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale. And then we reach it up. Find your version. Maybe you don't add anything. That's totally cool. Or maybe you add stuff sometimes and not other times. Hands come to the top of the mat. We make our way to down dog. Big bend in the knees. Gaze forward as you step or float to Malasana. Hands come down. Step the left foot back as we inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We reach it up, lowering the back knee as we straighten through that right leg and come into our half camel pose. Bend that right knee, arrow lunge to our dancing Shiva. We tip it over, half moon, and then left hand lowers, left knee comes behind the right, and we twist towards the right. Moving into those deer legs. Inhale, right arm will reach up and come behind the head. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We reach it up. Find your version. And then hands come to the top. We meet in down dog. Almost there. Soften those knees. Meet in Malasana. And then hands come down as we step the right foot back. Left arm reaches. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We reach it up. We lower. And then make it straight-ish. We'll move into our half camel pose from here. And then we move into our arrow, lifting up into our dancing Shiva. And then we tip it over, coming into our half moon. Looks like I tipped over my block. Right hand lowers, right knee comes behind the left, and we twist towards the left. 90-90 deer legs. Our setup. Inhale, reach it up and behind the head. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Reach it up. Find your version. And then we meet in our down dog or any resting position of choice. Check in with your breath. Take a moment just to slow it down. Find some stillness. Check in with our affirmation of my heart is filled with gratitude for this moment. Again, my heart is filled with gratitude for this moment. All right. Jelly's short, y'all. Once I show you the first version where there's detours, but other than that, it's short. So we're going to just move right through. So we're meeting in down dog. And once you find that down dog, go ahead, lift up the right leg. So from our warm up, we came into that gate pose, bringing that knee to the center, which is what we're doing here. And we're reaching that right arm up and overhead as we lean in towards the back of the mat. Right hand comes down. Left arm and leg lift. We swing that leg forward. And this is where we change. We're going to come into our reverse warrior. So tuck those back toes under, coming into your warrior two legs as you reach up and over, breathing into that left side body. So super strong and straight back leg. Go deeper into that forward leg. Inhale. Exhale, we'll cartwheel it down to our runner's twist, which is familiar, right? Right hand down, left arm reaches up. So from here, we're coming into a seated position. So we have to maybe place a block underneath this right hand to give us more leverage. So we're doing like a little ninja kick. So we're gonna bring that knee in and then we extend it out. And if that doesn't work, just find your way onto your seat. That part is staying though as we speed it up. And then this is when your leg baby starts to become a backpack next, should you choose to go to that next stop. So maybe have that onto your shoulder. And we might come into compass pose, which is very similar if you had your strap at the beginning where we were leaning into one side. So you can extend that left arm out and then start to work this left leg straightish. Other options, if you like to arm balance, you might try placing the blocks underneath your hands because that's always helpful. But you might come into elephant pose, just lifting up here. Could also come into running man. So you have to make yourself small, lifting up, bringing that leg through as you come into that running man. Again, all we're doing is coming to a seat, maybe doing our rock the baby. So you listen to what you need. Good news. That's all. So we're gonna make our way to down dog. So you can cross the ankles, maybe float back, maybe crawl back, maybe slip and slide back. The left side's turn. We inhale, lifting up the left leg, coming into that gate pose, so bring that knee to the center. And then inhale, left arm reaches up and over towards the back. And then left hand comes down. Right arm reaches up. We're gonna swing that leg to the top. And we're coming into our reverse warrior. So we swing the back toes back, tucking those toes under as we lift up, reaching up and over with those warrior two legs. Nice big bend in that forward knee. Nice strong and straight back leg. Inhale. On our exhale, cartwheel those hands down for runner's twist. So left hand is down, right arm reaches up. And this is where we're doing our little ninja kick. So you might have to have a block underneath your hand, totally cool. Otherwise, we just make our way to our seat by bringing that leg through however we can do it. So you might draw it in and then extend out. Once you find your seat, find your leg baby. Your leg baby is probably not the same as the last side. So if I like to joke, if they're twins, they're probably fraternal, right? Maybe coming into that half happy baby pose where we straighten and draw that leg back. Maybe coming into your compass pose where your leg baby becomes a backpack. Maybe. starting to straighten through that leg as you gaze underneath the left arm. Again, option to play with those arm balances if you want to come into your elephant, really thinking about pushing into the mat as you lift. Maybe you move into your running. Again, this is where we start. And now we're going to pick up the pace, and we're not going to do the little detours unless you want to do that in your practice, which is perfect. So we can cross the ankles. We'll make our way to our down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, bring that knee to the center for gate pose. Torso lifts as we reach that right arm up and over. And then exhale, hand comes to the top. We inhale, lift. So we swing forward, bring that left foot forward, tucking the back toes under so that we can inhale into the reverse warrior. Exhale, cartwheel the arms. Inhale, runner's twist. Exhale, bring that leg all the way through. And of course, I can't see, you can skip this part, but we'll meet in down dog from here. And I told you it was fast, so left leg lifts. Exhale, bring it through for your gate pose. Inhale, left arm reaches up overhead. Exhale, lower it for supported side plank. Swing that right leg forward. We're moving into that reverse warrior as we reach up and back. Exhale, cartwheel it down. Inhale, runner's twist. Exhale, hiya, ninja kick forward. Make your way to down dog. You want to take a vinyasa, you can do that. Right leg lifts. Knee draws to the center for gate pose, lifting up the torso as we reach that right arm overhead. Exhale, hand comes down. Inhale, we lift. Swing it forward as we tuck those back toes under. Inhale to the reverse warrior. Exhale, cartwheel it down. Runner's twist. To our ninja kick, all the way onto our seat. I know it's crazy, but one more side. We'll meet in down dog, however you want to get there. And then left leg lifts. Bring it through. Gate pose. Lowering it down, we inhale. Bring it all the way forward on our exhale. Next inhale takes us to the reverse warrior. Exhale, cartwheel it down. Inhale. Exhale, moving into our ninja kick. And then we're going to come into my next part, which is my favorite part, which is peanut butter and jelly. So before then, take a break. If you're in down dog, child's pose, seated, whatever you need, just take a moment to be. And as you take that moment to be, we can check in with our affirmation, and my heart is filled with gratitude for this moment. We can give ourselves our pep talk because it's peanut butter and jelly time, and we're going to bring these two together one last time. And our pep talk also because our body is so smart, our muscle memory is so smart, so by doing all that repetition, we're just going to do it. It's going to be awesome. And I'll even tell you the little surprise. When we combine them, the first time we do jelly, it'll be on the opposite side. But you can see we're changing up sides anyway, so it's all good. And I'm going to take you through it. Let's meet in Malasana. You're going to do amazing. Again, my heart is filled with gratitude for this moment, for this peanut butter and jelly moment. So hands come down as we step the left foot back. Inhale, right arm reaches up, bring it behind the head. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale. And then reach that arm up, lower the back knee, half splits to our half camel pose. And then we bend that right knee, coming into our arrow lunge. Our left knee draws in and we come into our dancing Shiva. Exhale, tip it over, coming into our half moon. And then we bring that left hand down, bring that left knee behind, and we twist towards the right. Moving into those 90-90 deer legs, and then left hand or forearm comes to the outside of that knee. Right arm will reach up and behind the head. Exhale, close. Inhale, lift. Exhale, close. Inhale, lift. We close, and then we reach it up, adding anything that you might want to add here. And then hands come to the top of the mat. Right toes tuck under as left leg lifts. And we're bringing that knee to the center as we come into our gate pose, facing the right long edge of the mat as we reach that left arm overhead. And then we bring it down, supported side plank, swing that right foot forward, tuck the back toes under, we inhale into the reverse. And then we exhale, cartwheel it down. Inhale, runner's twist to our ninja kick. First side is done. You know it's hard to do. It's hard to get to Malasana from our seat. See if it can happen. There we go. Or any way that you get to Malasana. Last side, you've got it. So hands come down, step the right foot back. We inhale, left arm reaches up. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, we reach it up next, lowering that back knee down as we come into our half splits twist to our half camel pose. Bend that knee, arrow lunge to our dancing Shiva. Swing that leg back as you tip over, half moon to our seated twist. So right hand down, right knee comes behind, and we twist towards the left. Going into those deer 90-90 legs, and right arm or forearm comes to the outside, left arm reaches behind the head. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Reach it up last time here, find your version. And then we lower, hands come down, left toes tuck under, so we kick that right leg back, and we move into our gate pose. Reaching that right arm overhead to our supported side plank. Swing that left leg forward, moving into our reverse warrior on the inhale. Exhale, cartwheel it down. Inhale, runner's twist to our ninja kick. Yay, we did it. All right. So, I don't think we need to go anywhere. We can just sit for now. If there's anything that you want to work on while you're upright, feel free to do so. Otherwise, we can make our way onto our backs from here. So if you know that you like to work on anything with props, have it to one long edge of the mat. Arms can extend forward, drawing the chin in towards the chest as we slowly make our way onto our backs. And a good time to maybe come into some windshield wipers here. Maybe you stay for a twist. Maybe you take your blocks, coming into a supported bridge pose. So we did a bridge pose with our strap at the beginning. Maybe we do it with blocks here. If you take my class regularly, you probably know I'm a big fan of both cheeks getting a block. You can also come into your supported shoulder stand by coming here. Maybe you want to get into those hip flexors, straightening through both legs, or you can bring one in so you're getting more into that psoas. So just close out in a way that you like, knowing that the next place we're going to come to all together will be our final pose of Shavasana. Also know that if you're doing something that has two sides, be mindful of changing sides after several breaths. And then from here, when you're ready, we'll make our way to our final pose of Shavasana. So taking up space on your mat here, nice wide stance, allowing the feet to fall freely to the sides. Arms come down by your sides with palms facing up. I'd like to encourage you to take up space as you come into this shape, because our practice is a reflection of our lives off the mat. So the idea is that if we take up space here, we take up space once we go out into the world. Take a moment to have gratitude for yourself for showing up to your mat, gratitude for all the hard work that you just put in, gratitude for this feeling that you created through those first two things. And be proud of yourself because you did amazing. Know that I'm so proud of you. And just let your breath be soft and your body still. Shavasana. As always, feel free to stay here as long as you need. When you're ready, you can start to deepen your breath, inviting small movements. You can reach the arms up overhead, just awakening to this new body. We'll bring our knees into our chest, giving them a nice squeeze as we roll to one side in our fetal-like pose, our pose for new beginnings. And we just take this feeling with us as we leave the mat, because that is when our true yoga begins. My heart is filled with gratitude for this moment. We'll meet in a seated position of choice. Hands will come to heart center in our Anjali Mudra as we tuck our chin under. And I just want to thank you so much for joining me today, for allowing me to be your guide. It's always such an honor. Until next time, namaste. Bye. See you later.